Good evening, everyone. We are officially starting. Uh, so you are welcome to Cyber Chat. We do this every Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. And if you are new to the Eretmis family, you are warmly welcome. This is a very interactive and a very supportive family. We help ourselves. We do Cyber Chat on Friday nights to help spread the word when it comes to cybersecurity, totally free, and it's an open forum. So everybody is encouraged to share the opinion and also to contribute to the body of knowledge as we hold discussions like this. So you are welcome. Like I always say, you could have been anywhere else Friday night, but you chose to be here. So we appreciate your time, and we are going to make sure that the time that you spend with us tonight is going to be very meaningful. You are going to get something for your toolbox, so please hang on tight. And also, we encourage you to participate and contribute as we are moving along, right? And I'm not sure if Frank is on here, but Frank got a PCI job this week. So shout out to him. I think for all our PCI folks, during the one of the PCI job placement assistants, Frank shared his, I think he had done 2 or 3 interviews by then. And he shared some of his experiences during the interviews and questions and stuff like that. He eventually got the job after, I think he did 4 interviews in total. Mostly you do 3. He did 4. The last one was with the last 2 where the third one and the fourth one was with the same person, but he had to do it again. So I don't know for what reason, but eventually he got a job. So a big shout out to Frank. Maybe hopefully he'll be. I think he said he was working tonight, so hopefully he'll be able to maybe join later on, and eventually quit his night job and become a full-blown cybersecurity professional doing PCI stuff. So we are starting, and we are still allowing people in. So please bear with us as we are moving along. We still have folks joining us. All right. So let's jump into it. I'm Dr. Emmanuel Edu. If you're new to the family, I'm a former United States Army captain. I'm a QSA, CEO of a QSA company. We do Eretmis Inc. is a QSA company and a cybersecurity company as well. Not that if QSA or working in PCI space is something outside security, but just re-emphasize on that. We are a cybersecurity firm. We do contracts, we do cybersecurity consulting, and likes. I'm also the founder of, okay, I think somebody unmuted themselves. All right. So please make sure you mute yourself. So everybody is automatically muted once you join. So if you unmute yourself, then that is where we have issues like that. So Eretmis Academy is institute promoting cyber chat every Friday night. I'm the founder of Eretmis Academy, and we have a couple of our students also on here as well. Our goal is to build an army of cybersecurity professionals, right? So this is part of what we are doing. So you are welcome. And also to reinforce, I think we've been mentioning this every Friday night. So Eretmis Academy is a partner with CompTIA, is an authorized partner. So what does that mean to you or to everybody who is on here? Please unmute yourself. I think some folks keep muting themselves. So as partners for our students or people within our community, if you want to purchase any voucher for an exam for CompTIA, we have a 20% discount that we will relay that to you. So and if you want to purchase or if you want to sit for any of the CompTIA exams, you have a 20% discount. So reach out to us and we'll purchase the voucher on your behalf, and you will get the 20% discount, right? So all our 20% discount is going to you. Like there's nothing for us in doing that. That is just to still support and help the community out. Now, our Thanksgiving sales is starting tonight. and our Veterans Day sales ended tonight. So we are ending and starting a new one. It's a 30% off for a one-time payment on all our courses across board. So you can take advantage of that as well. The coupon code is thanks 23, right? On our website, it's also on there. And this is the 20% that I was talking about on all vouchers for the CompTIA, any of the CompTIA certification exams, right? And with CompTIA, they are switching from 601 to 701. You know, it's like it seems like 601 just came up. I think they switched to 601 like 3 days ago, but it's almost like 2 years now, right? And they are switching and upgrading it to 701. So we will probably discuss that in our probably our next cyber chat. Why certifications they keep what they do really when it comes to changing like certifications, or what do they add to it. That will be one of the topics that we are going to discuss after Thanksgiving, right? So now we are going to also move into still on certifications. If you've written or if you have any certification, CompTIA, Security Plus, and the rest, or ISACA, CISA, and others, you know, you have to renew your certification every 3 years, right? So instead of sitting for the exam, there's another way that you can renew without sitting for the exam again. That is what we call continuous educational points that you get. The different certification bodies, they call it different names, but simply is continuous education. You have to prove that you are continuously improving yourself and you are doing something within the security space. So that stems from, you know, sitting for other certification exams or taking training or attending webinars like this. They can use all those as points for you to get recertified without sitting for the exam, right? Or you can resit for the exam if you like writing exams. I think if you pass it one time, you know, if you don't want to write it, you should be able to prove that you are doing something that is continuously keeping you up to date when it comes to the security space, right? So this is how you go about doing it. Specifically for CompTIA, we went through this a couple of times. Michael was spearheading this. So this is just still part of the slides. And for CompTIA, I think you need, what, 10 CEUs to, you know, renew your certification. And this webinar, you can take screenshots of this. Even for the replay, you can still use that. So there's a lot of, I think we have almost 200 videos on YouTube, all from Cyber Chat. So you can go on there and go through a couple of those and, you know, take screenshots as evidence and use that for your renewal of your certifications, right? So this is all about that. And then also we have a WhatsApp group, a very big WhatsApp group for cybersecurity, WhatsApp group for Eretmis. You can join. For cyber chats like this, we post everything on there. For industry trends and others, we post on there. Our community is also really good about posting, you know, current issues and some maybe type of attacks or threats that are going on. We post it on there. It's purely just cybersecurity stuff that we post on there. So you can also join. The link will be posted in the chat as we are moving along. And then we also have a YouTube channel. We are streaming live on YouTube now. And then also for the recording, it'll be posted on YouTube. So if you miss it, or if you go to YouTube, you have a whole catalog of cyber chats that we've done in the past. There have been instances where people reach out to us and they tell us they went through our YouTube channel, you know, went through a couple of the YouTube lessons and they got jobs with it, right? You know, there are a couple of them. They got jobs without even actually coming to Eretmis Academy, just going through the YouTube content. So which, you know, goes to show that is really good content. And some are still going on there to pick, you know, a few pointers here and there on to help them on the job as well. So we have a lot of great content when it comes to cyber chat on YouTube. So you can also go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel and promote it as well. You know, send it to friends and family. It's going to help for folks who are interested in cybersecurity and those who are already working in the industry. There's always something on there that is really going to help. You know, I had a friend who is kind of, you know, knows we are doing cyber chats and the rest, but has not really participated in any of it. And I think 2 days ago he sent me a test. He's watching the third-party risk management cyber chat that we did on YouTube. He was doing some research online to find more information about third party, and he chanced on it and he's watching it. I'm like, okay, so that's good. Hopefully that is helpful. And his answer was yes, a big, thumbs up. It was really helpful. So with that, we are moving into our presentation for tonight. We'll be looking at cyber news and then our internship, cybersecurity internship, and our new PCI compliance and GRC class will also be starting in December 12th and 16th for both of them, right? And then we will look into the best cybersecurity tools for general cybersecurity tools, and then we will look at the ones for 2024 and why those are the ones that we selected for 2024, and then also resources, really good resources for you to stay up to date when it comes to cybersecurity information and cybersecurity trends that are going on, right? So we'll first look at AI for cyber news this week. So the Federal Trade Commission, FTC, is really pushing hard when it comes to fraud that is being perpetrated using AI voice cloning, right? So attackers have gotten to the point where they can clone your voice. For some transactions, if they just get a yes from you and it's your voice, that serves as a biometric for them to use that as a second form of authentication, right? So that can be a two-factor authentication for them. So attackers, they've been using that to, scam people and giving consent when people have not actually given consent. So FTC, they've had a couple of complaints, and in their effort to help prevent AI voice cloning, they've brought about an AI voice cloning challenge. And this challenge, I think the prize is a $25,000 challenge. And anybody can participate in this. You don't have to be a company. If you have maybe some research, or if you have a product that can help curb or prevent or minimize the fraud that is being perpetrated by, bad people to fraudulently, take money from victims, they will award you if you win, right? If your product or the processes that you have will help to prevent this, you stand a chance of winning 25 grand. So I think everybody on here should start digging into. You can use AI to really prep and get a product for this AI challenge, right? So that is the fun part about this. So the goal is to combat AI fraud, specifically when it comes to voice cloning, right? And what really are they looking for? So for the runner-ups, they are going to receive $4,000, and then also they're going to have an honorable mention and receive, I think, like the third runner-up is going to receive like $2,000 or something like that, right? All of this is on FTC's website. You can go on their website and read more about the AI voice cloning challenge, right? Now, for this challenge, what they are looking for is for everything that you are going to submit, right? If it is a product, if it's a policy, a procedure, you should have the following, at least one of the following. So the first is prevention and authentication. So it must provide a way to limit the use or application of voice cloning software by unauthorized users. So your product or your policy or the procedure that you're going to submit for this competition should at least have this prevention and authentication in there, right? Now, the second thing that they are looking for is real-time detection or monitoring. So this will be a product, some automated product of some sort, right? It must provide a way to detect clone voices or use of the voice cloning technology, right? Or we'll look at the last one, that is post-use evaluation. It must provide a way to check if an audio clip contains a clone voice, right? So your policies or your product that you are going to submit should be able to do at least, one of these, right? And maybe if you have a good policy or a product, you are going to win this competition. So that is on the good part. because it has some, money winning in there, and then also it's going to be fun. You can, group yourself into teams and come up with something, right? If you don't have a product, it can be a policy, it can be some procedure on how to do this, and it should meet at least one of those three criteria, right? So it's pretty fun. That is something that, folks on here who want to, work on some projects, you can get together and work on this. At least if you don't have any software background to develop a product, you can at least come up with some policy or some procedures or SOPs on those things. Now, the next news, obviously, is about hackers, right? So, a company called System East is a New York-based e-payment provider, e-commerce payment provider. So they process and transmit and store cardholder data for their customers, right? They got hit with an attack, and the attackers stole 209,000 cardholder data. But the good part about this is the data was encrypted. So the attackers, although they have the data, what can they use the data for if they cannot decrypt the data, right? So the company announced this. It happened around 25th of August, and they had to, as part of your incident response, like we looked at in one, I think a month ago, Cyber Chat, when we did incident response, as part of your duties as the incident response team, you are supposed to notify, or as a company, when there's an incident, you are supposed to notify the authorities, and you are also supposed to send notification to your customers as well. It's not if you want to, it's mandatory, right? And if the incident, bordered on, I think for a good rule of thumb is like more than 500 customers, then you have to, alert your customers, right? So this is 200,000. So they have to let customers know, even though the data was encrypted, attackers were still able to steal that data. So now the company said, customers' data is not going to be in danger, but they are also asking the question, will it be possible, or can these attackers decrypt the information? And why will this company be concerned about attackers decrypting your information? I just want maybe 4 or 5 people to give their thoughts on this. The data was encrypted. Like when I saw this news, I'm like, okay, so I mean, attackers, they are still losing. They can't use this data for anything. But then, after reading through the article, I kind of sensed the company was concerned because they think the attackers might be able to decrypt the information. And why would you be concerned? Anybody wants to give their take on this? Why do you think the company is concerned about attackers being able to decrypt?
Perhaps those in control of the keys, they might compromise if they get across to them, or maybe they didn't use strong maybe financial algorithm yes.
Okay.
In when they are trying to encrypt the data.
Okay. Great point, Olan. Rachel, go ahead.
Yeah, that is I think yes, a part of what I wanted to say. It's just like I just felt like maybe if one of them should just show up, from there they can able to get back their information.
Okay. Olumbunmi. Please, sorry if I Olubumi. Great.
That's fine, Doctor. Yeah, my take on that is I'm thinking that they are also thinking that it could be an insider threat, and some people might have the key. They're not so sure. So
yeah, I mean, you have a really valid point. Yeah. Anybody else? Go ahead, Noah.
Yeah, doctor. I believe they didn't use the strong encryption key in order to encrypt it. Maybe they didn't use the up-to-date one or the one preferred in order I mean the one by the federal or being advised by the security I mean normal security principle to encrypt it.
Okay. Okay, great point. Susanna, go ahead. Please unmute yourself. You are still muted. Oh, I think Susanna is still muted. Okay, so we are going to go ahead. Any takers before we move on? So great point by everyone. Now, for them to be concerned, like Noah just said, and Olan also alluded to, if you are using the strongest algorithm, the strongest encryption algorithm out there, your only concern should be on the management of your encryption keys, right? But if you are not using the strongest out there, then now you are concerned about the algorithm, the encryption algorithm, and then the keys, right? So if you have a good encryption key management program in place, then you shouldn't really be concerned. But when it comes to decrypting, simply based on the fact that your encryption algorithm is weak, then that is on you as a company, right? That shouldn't, in today's day and age, you shouldn't be using any encryption algorithm that is of less strength than the one that is prescribed by the whole entire industry, right? And what is the strongest, some of the strongest algorithms out there, or like what is the strongest out there when it comes to, I know we have two types of encryption algorithms out there, right? So for the main two types, what is the strongest for both? Anyone? Leo, you unmuted yourself first. Go ahead.
It depends if
okay, go ahead, please.
If it's for data arrest, your best bet is a symmetric encryption. You can use AES 256.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's data in transit, you use a symmetric or asymmetric encryption.
Okay, so is AES 256, is it the strongest out there now, or there's a different version of AES that is stronger than that? Oh, and I know, I think like Noah also unmuted himself. Derek.
Yeah.
I think AES is the strongest one at the moment. This is Derek.
Which version of AES? AES is the strongest out there, yes. But there are different variants of AES.
The 128.
Yes, but I wouldn't use 128 if there is a stronger version of AES.
256.
256.
Yes, 256 is strong. Anything else be above 256?
RSA or two.
Go ahead, please, Jonathan.
RSA or two fish?
Two fish. I'll go with RSA when it comes to asymmetric, but two fish, not so much.
Okay, thank you.
Doc, CCMP.
CCMP. So CCMP writes on either AES or like one of those, right? It is not an encryption algorithm on its own. We are just talking about encryption algorithm, no protocols that use encryption algorithms, right? But I mean, so reason why I'm jumping into this and asking if there is something else stronger is simply to show you that you have to continuously just be updating yourself in the industry, right? So because just as we are speaking, there can be a newer version of AES that is stronger than what we know, right? So how you do that, you can easily just Google it. What is the strongest, encryption algorithm out there, or just staying abreast with the industry, like, forums like this will help you to polish up and also get to know certain things that you were not, probably you kind of overlooked, or you think, or you didn't know had been updated, right? Because for me personally, I didn't even know CompTIA was coming up with 701 until I think last week or last 2 weeks, thereabout. I'm like, oh, okay, so soon, right? So, but you have to continuously, based on where, and emails that you have subscribed to, based on platforms that you go on, it'll help you to stay updated when it comes to the industry. And that is what we are going to discuss tonight. So that is why, we were just taking some time to pick everybody's brain on what they think is the strongest algorithm and the rest. And then also to just analyze the concerns that this company might have, right? So I think to use the strongest encryption algorithm out there, there is no rocket science. You can just Google it. What is the strongest AES type algorithm out there? I think for now it's 256, right? So 128 is there, but 256 is what you should use if that is like the maximum, or like that is the limit for AES, right? And aside for symmetric encryption, aside AES, I wouldn't go below AES. Some companies are still using 3DES and the rest, but I'll just go with AES just to be on the safer side, right? So thank you everyone for your contribution. Now we are going to move on into best cybersecurity tools for 2024, right? So we'll first look at cybersecurity tools in general, look at the categorization and the different types, look at some brand names or some vendors, like specific vendor tools, and then we will jump into which tools are going to be best for 2024. And that is just based on our prediction. So let's jump in. So if you are new to cybersecurity, you are not very familiar with cybersecurity tools, or you might have heard about cybersecurity tools, but you don't really know exactly what it is. It is not obviously these tools, right? But it's kind of similar in terms of the use. So cybersecurity tools, they are hardware, software that we use to help protect our data, to help protect our systems, to help protect our network from unauthorized, malicious actors like hackers and the rest, and then also to protect it from unauthorized or even from natural disasters and the rest, right? So the goal of cybersecurity tools is to help enforce cybersecurity or information security, in simple terms, right? Now, these tools, there are different types and different variety of tools, and they all serve different purposes. So the different categories serve different purposes. That includes monitoring your systems and your networks, detecting and preventing attacks and intrusions, responding to, if in case there is an intrusion on your network or there is an incident, responding to such incidents, and ensuring the safety and integrity of our environment and the confidentiality of our environment as well, right? So the overall goal when it comes to cybersecurity and information security, regardless of whatever your role, your job title, whatever you are doing is, we all have one goal, and the goal is to reduce risks or mitigate risks to a very minimal or negligible level. And that negligible level or minimal level will be determined by your company, or be determined by the company in question, right? So company A might, set their negligible level at maybe 30%. Company B might set theirs at 40%. It depends on what we call your company's risk appetite. So how much they can take in terms of losses that might, happen if a certain type of risk is supposed to occur. So for a bigger company, so a company like Amazon, if a risk materialize and it's going to cost them $1 million, it's like not really that much a slap on the wrist because is a $1 billion company, right? But for a company like Eretmis, if we lose $1 million, our hell is going to break loose, right? It's a really bad day. We cannot afford that because we are not as big as Amazon, right? So everything that we are doing, the goal, regardless of where you find yourself in security, the goal is to reduce risks, right? And we can go into the details of how everybody's duties and responsibilities are contributing to reducing risks. But we are just going to leave it as that. So now, also bringing it back to tools, the goal of all these tools is to help reduce risks, right? Regardless of who is using it or which side of security it is being used, the goal is to help reduce risks. Go ahead, Isaac. Isaac, you had your hand up. You are still muted.
Oh, no. I'm sorry, that must have been a mistake. Sorry.
That is Isaac K.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
I'm sorry also. That must have been a mistake. I didn't raise my hand.
Oh, okay. Okay. So we are going to move on. Now, when it comes to the tools, like I was saying, we have so many tools. I was tempted to say over 1 million, but I don't know that for a fact. Maybe in the hundreds, right? I don't even think it's going to get to the thousands. It's many, but it's not that many. Right? Now, when it comes to the tools, there are so many of it. For you to really have a good grasp of cybersecurity tools, you have to know them by their categories, right? And these tools, mostly what I would say is know the tools by categories and know at least one or two within those categories, or familiarize yourself with one or two tools within that category, because most of the tools within one category, they all follow the same trend. They all have the same interface. They all follow the same pattern because they are used for pretty much the same thing, right? So if you are in security, don't get too hung up on a specific tool in terms of brand name, because different companies use different tools. You might be using Cisco in one company, another company just hates Cisco. So they use maybe Fortnite, right? So now you have to switch. But if you just have a general understanding of, firewalls and why we use them and just the general interface using Cisco, you should be able to transition easily into like Fortnite and the rest, right? So the tools, you just have to know at least some of it within a category. But for you to really be up to speed on tools, you have to know them by category, know the different categories that are out there. Now we are going to look at them based on category and some brand names within that category. And the list that we are looking at is by no means all of it, even when it comes to the categories. But we are trying to do justice to it, at least be a little bit more extensive. So we will cover more, right? So I think we have up to 10 that we will look at, but we will first start with network security tools. So our network security tools, security tools, they are used to protect our network and data on the network and systems on the network. So one of the very common tools, network security tools, firewalls, is a firewall, right? Everybody, has a firewall on your laptop or desktop that you are using. So firewall, very common. Some of the brand names, Cisco, one of the very big ones, FortiGate, one of the very big ones as well. Palo Alto, one of the very big brand names as well. That is not listed on here. Now, another, type of tool within this category is what we call intrusion detection, prevention, and intrusion detection, prevention, intrusion prevention systems, and intrusion detection systems, right? So these are two tools. They are not together. They can be together, right? But they are two separate tools. Intrusion detection is used to only detect intrusion onto your network. So you're going to receive an alert that there is something, malicious going on. the tool is not going to do nothing about it. It's just going to alert you. Intrusion prevention, on the other hand, will detect and try to prevent it, right? So it's a very typical examples. Snort. So Snort is an open source. It's a free tool. Cisco has Firepower. I'm not sure if they have a free version of that, but those are some of the brand names within that category. Now we have network access control, also a very good tool to help you diagnose systems that might want to have access to your network or your resources to make sure they have good security before they are allowed access to the network, right? And then we have VPN, which everybody is very familiar with. VPN, they are also network tools that we use. NordVPN, ExpressVPN, there's a whole list of them. This is by no means all of it. But like I said, if you know how to use one, if you know how to use NordVPN, and you tell me you don't know or you wouldn't be able to move around with ExpressVPN, then you probably don't know how to use NordVPN. Because if you do, then you can easily also use this. So still buttressing the point that I was trying to make. If you know how to use, so when we take firewalls, if you know how to, move around in one firewall, obviously you should be able to move around in others because they have similar interface. They have the same use. So the use case for, those types of, for like all the different brand names are almost the same. So we are going to look at endpoint security tools. So endpoint security tools, endpoint, if you are not familiar with it, endpoint, anything that an end user is using, like your laptop, your desktop, your tablets, they are all endpoint, right? So what software do we have on these systems that can help also enforce security? Is what we are going to look at. So anti-malware, anti-virus, different types. We have McAfee, one of the very popular ones, and the rest. So for anti-malware, anti-virus software, there's a whole list of it, right? That you can use. Some, I'm not sure if there are still free versions or free types hanging out, but now for, I think Windows and Apple started, setting up their operating systems without needing to install antivirus on there, and Windows also followed suit. So now Windows they have their own, so you don't necessarily need to buy one. But if you still want to reinforce, you can still get one of these. And moving around in these, like I said, is still also pretty much the same when it comes to all the different brands within that space. Now we have endpoint detection and response, EDR tools. So for EDR tools, we have CrowdStrike, Falcon, and the rest. Data loss prevention. We have, for data loss prevention, one big one that is not on here is Proofpoint. It's an email security tool, but it also has a really good data loss prevention that I like. And the rest brand names are also on here. Now, this encryption, we have BitLocker from Microsoft, VeraCrypt, also one of the tools out there. So this is for the endpoint security tools, and this is by no means all of the list of tools under this category, big category, but at least it's a good starting point. Now there are some questions in here that we will look at as we are moving along. So we are looking at number three on the list, and this we are looking at just security tools in general, right? Identity and access management tools. Those are the fun ones. We have single sign-on SSO tools. Okta is one of the biggest names out there now. One Login is also one of the big names out there. And there's a lot, outside Okta and just the two that we just looked at. Now we have multi-factor authentication tools as well. We have dual security and Okti. And then we also have privilege access management, your PAM. We have CyberArk and the rest also as brand names under these specific categories. And identity governance and administration, IGA tools. We have IBM security identity and governance, and we have SailPoint also as some of the brand names here, right? So like I said, you don't necessarily need to know all of these. You just have to get that exposure, use some of it, right? At least the ones that will have free versions, use some of it. And during interviews or if you're on the job, when you get a new tool, there is always going to be some form of orientation for you to be able to familiarize yourself with these tools. Now, remember that for these brand names, right, they have an obligation to teach or to show their customers how to use their tools. Other than that, nobody's going to use your tool, right? So their goal is to make their tool as simple and easy to use as possible. And then also, if a company just purchases their tool, they have to go in there and train all their staff on it, right? So if you find yourself in a company that is switching to a new tool, it's good for you because it's a good learning experience, right? If they're already using it, they can also orient you on it, right? But at least you have to know how to use similar tools or tools in general. You know how to use some tools. If you're totally, zero when it comes to tools, then you're going to run into issues. So we are doing this just to expose you to these tools, dig into them. You can go to, so for a single sign-on, go to Octa's website. If they have a free version that you can use it. Your experience using tools does not have to necessarily come from a paid experience, right? If you know how to use it at home, it's a similar use case that you're going to have on the job. So even if it's not totally, the same, at least you have a good starting point. So you're not going to be asking. It's not like I just put you in a car and now you're going to ask me, so how do I move it, right? You know how to move it already. Maybe probably not this specific car, but if we show you where everything is, this is where you started, this is where the gear is, this is where like the pedals and everything is. Once it started, you should be able to. So that is the whole point in this. Now we are looking at 4, that is application security tools. For application security tools, we are referring to how to protect our application software, web applications, so all applications in general. We have static application testing tools. So this is predominantly for our software folks, software engineers and software developers. Dynamic application security testing. We have interactive application security testing also as well. Software composition analysis tools as well. And we have the whole list on there as well. So if you are working outside, for the security side, if you are working outside the development side of the house, then you wouldn't really be exposed to these tools. So but if you're part of the software development lifecycle, you are the security person who is working with the software developers, then you will encounter these tools. Now we are going to be looking at data security tools. So for data security tools, we are looking at predominantly how to protect our data. So these tools are designed to protect data, both for data at rest and data in transit as well. So for why don't we have data that is the data in process? So are we only protecting data at rest and data in transit? What do we do because data on our network at any point in time is doing 3 things. It's either being stored, that is at rest, is either moving from point A to point B, that is data in transit, or is being processed for something, right? So that is data in process. So what we do to protect data in process? When we are processing the data, what can we do to protect it? Any takers on here for? Anyone?
Do you have to encrypt it?
No, if you encrypt your data, you cannot process
it. I think you're gonna implement strong access controls.
Yes, that will be one.
And we mark it.
No, so you can max it. If you max it, then you cannot use it. So simply put, okay, go ahead, Abigail.
Can we use threat intelligence platforms?
Yeah.
One of the security operation
Yeah, we can.
detection to kind of detect it from being transit installed.
Okay, so we are talking about when it is being processed, right? Go ahead, Chris.
How about ensuring that the environment where it's being processed is highly protected? Like you could use different methods, strong access controls, and other methods of security to ensure, like a sandbox kind of environment.
Okay, Brian, go ahead.
When you say in transit, you mean like processing, like SSL or encrypted link, something tunneling?
No, so when data is in transit, it is just simply being moved from one point to the other, right? But we are talking about when the data is being processed, when it is actually being used for something. It is not moving, it is not being stored, it is being used for something, right? And Chris really hit it right on the nail. So when the data, I know like Rahel also had your hand up, but you had it down. Okay. So we are going to move on. Now, when the data is at rest, we can protect it. When it is in transit, we can protect it. When we are processing the data, we cannot protect it. So what we can do is we have to protect the environment within which it is being processed. Right. So we have to guard that environment within which it is being processed. That is all that we can do when it is being processed. Right? So that is why here, when we are talking about data security tools, we are looking at these tools are specifically designed to protect data when it is at rest and when it is in transit. Because we cannot protect the data itself when it is being processed. We can protect the environment within which it is being processed. So Chris was right on the money. All right. So, I mean, as we are going along, we are learning. So, good learning experience for all of us. Now, for these tools, when your data is at rest or in transit, we can either encrypt it. So encryption tools, we can max it, maxing tools, data erasure. Now, if we have to securely delete data, then we can use that. And then also backup solutions, we can back up our data. So if attackers, encrypt maybe our data and they're asking for money with ransomware, we are just going to laugh at them at the face. And please hold on. Frank, I think, okay, annotation has been disabled for everybody. But Frank was, I don't know like what he was trying to do, but it was, all over on the screen. All right, so we are going to move on with number 6. That is our security operations and incident response. So for security operations and incident response tools, that is where we have our SIM tools. We have our threat intelligence, forensic tools, and incident response platforms as well. So for SIM tools, Splunk, obviously, QRadar, and the rest, Logarithm. They are all some of the brand names out there. For threat intelligence, we have Threat Connect, and the rest. For forensics, we have Encase, forensics, FTK. They are all some of the popular names when it comes to, and all these tools, they are brand names, right? They are from different companies that are making these tools. You can even make one, right? If you are into software development, you can make one of these tools as well, and they also be added on the list as well. Incident response platforms, Rapid7, IBM Resilient, and the rest, they are all incident response tools that, that falls under security operations and incident response. Now we are going to move on into vulnerability management. So for vulnerability management tools, we are looking at vulnerability scanners, vulnerability scanning tools. We are looking at patch management tools as well. We are looking at vulnerability assessment, and we are looking at configuration management tools as well. So for vulnerability assessment, for vulnerability scanners, Nexus, Qualys, they are some of the popular ones that are out there. For patches, Manage Engine, Patch Manager Plus, and the rest. For vulnerability assessment, Rapid7, Nexpo, and Tenable, they are the owners of Nexus. And for configuration, we have these brand names also as well. Our cloud security is also really big in today's day and age, right? So for cloud security, we have under one of the big, labels within cloud security is CAPS, that is Cloud Asset Security Broker. And this is a software that sits between your on-prem network and the cloud network that you might have. So be it like a community cloud or public or any of those other versions, this will help to regulate traffic coming in back and forth within the cloud. And then we also have cloud workload protection platform, cloud security posture management, and cloud infrastructure entitlement management as well. And these are some of the brand names that are out there. Right. Now we are going to look at 9 and 10, and then we will jump into what tools that we are going to use for that we are going to look at for 2024. For email security tools, we have security email gateways, phishing detection and response, email encryption, anti-spam filters, and there's a whole brand, like a whole list of brand names under these also as well. So for email security gateways, we have Mimikast and Proofpoint. Proofpoint is one of the biggest ones that are out there. It's not one of the traditional ones, but I think they made really good headways because they have good products. They came up by not too long ago, but they are not also that young because they've been around for a while. And then for phishing detection and the rest, we have No B4 and Confiance also. And I think there's a couple of other ones. There's a lot of them, so sometimes you cannot, you will then just remember most of them offhand. Email encryption, we have these brand names also as well. Antivirus for filters, anti-spam filters, we have these ones also as well. Now for anti-spam filters, most of them are also inbuilt in the email software that or system that you'll be using as well, right? Now for web security tools, we have the following brand names. So web application firewalls, we have security, secure web gateways, we have content disarm and reconstruction softwares also as well, DNS filtering as well. So these are some of the brand names within that space as well. So mostly is the firewall folks or like the general network security, tools. Those brand names are the ones who are still making, just doing that switch from on-prem networks to anything in the web, and then also some of the cloud aspect of it. They also have some products also for that as well, right? So with that, we are going to move on into a summary of the categorization of the tools. Now, some of the categories on here we didn't mention, so that is why we have this diagram on here. When it comes to the categories, there is more than 10, so we just looked at 10, right? So from network security, monitoring tools, web vulnerability scanning tools, network defense, encryption tools, firewalls, we have penetration testing tools, that also has a whole catalog, key management tools, packet sniffers also as well, that has a whole catalog also underneath it. So this is supposed to be a starting point for everybody when it comes to tools. So it's an opportunity for you to dig more into tools. And some of the benefits of using these tools, they help us to do things that are almost humanly impossible to do, right? If you have to analyze your logs and you have 5,000 endpoints, or 700 servers, you cannot be going through all those manually, right? But with the help of these tools, you'll be able to do this in a matter of seconds or if not minutes, right? So some of the benefits, it helps protect our data, gives us alerts, it helps us to meet regulatory compliance, IT support, better data management, improve security posture, enhance productivity, obviously, and then also protect business reputation because it will help your company stay on the right side of security, right? Now, we are going to look at some of the top security tools for 2024. And this is purely based on prediction and guesstimation, right? And this is based on the current trends and also emerging technologies and the threat landscape as well. So the list that we are going to look at, is for like the most part based on our own prediction and based on what the trend within the industry is. We are predicting that these are some of the tools or some of the categories that will really prevail when it comes to 2024, and that will be in use and really needed, right? So I think everybody hold one. Let me get this off the screen. All right, so we are going to go ahead with our first one. So the first category of tools, or the first category of tools is the endpoint detection and response, the EDR tools. And EDR tools, we looked at some of the brand names. So CrowdStrike, Falcon is one, and then also Sentinel-1 is also another one. So you can dig more into these. There is a whole list of vendors when it comes to EDR tools. And if you are new to EDR, this is an opportunity for you to also dig more into it. Now, cloud security tools, we just looked at some of the brand names. Palo Alto, one of the biggest when it comes to security tools. Now they're almost in all the different categories, right? They have something, the different categories, good business strategy. But they are well known for their firewalls. So we are going to move into identity and access management. So identity and access management, regardless of the year, anytime we look at security tools, identity and access management tools, we cannot overlook, because identity and access management sometimes or almost all the time is our first line of defense, right? If somebody is trying to get into your house, what are they going to do first? To go through the door or through your window. So through your door or through your window, how are they going to get past your door or your window if you have a good access management right in place? So your doors are, you have the best security doors, you have the best security windows. It's not very easy for attackers to get in. So access is most often our first line of defense, right? So when we are looking at security tools, we can never overlook some security tools. If we have to cut down on budget, we might probably cut down on them a little bit. But for identity and access management, if we cut down on that, then we might as well not have anything for security. So it is in our top list for 2024, and Okta and the rest, Microsoft Azure, Active Directory. They are all some of the brand names when it comes to identity and access management tools. Now for 4, we have security, information and event management. So SIM tools, they have also come to stay, similar to identity and access management tools, because SIM tools, they help us to, at a glance, see our security posture, right? SIM tools on their own do not necessarily collect or kind of gather any information. We have to forward all that information from different tools within our infrastructure to SIM tool. But the SIM tool really, has been set up to really, put all this information in a very nice way for us to just look at it at a glance and see where we sit when it comes to security. So Splunk, QRadar from IBM are some of the big brand names within that space. And then for 5, we are looking at network security and firewalls. We have Fortinet and FortiGate from the same vendor, and then Cisco ASA with Firepower. Those are some of the brand names when it comes to Palo Alto should also be here as well. And then we have vulnerability management. For vulnerability management, obviously Qualys, Nexus, and the rest. They are some of the brand names, big brand names when it comes to vulnerability management tools. And for our number 7, intelligent platforms, we have Threat Connect, the rest. For data loss prevention, also one of the key tools that we cannot do without, because if we don't have that, then people can easily just, there can be insiders can easily steal data or exfiltrate information from our network to themselves outside our network, right? So data loss prevention, Sematech, and Proofpoint and the rest, they are some of the big brand names. Now, multi-factor authentication or authentication softwares, they are very critical now. They fall directly under identity and access management, and for it helps us to put in place different layers of authentication or add multiple factors of authentication together to ensure that our access is stronger, so attackers cannot easily get access to our information. Now, for number 10, we have security, AI, and automation tools. So AI is the buzzword now, but AI really, for all honesty, AI is changing the security landscape. It is helping, and attackers are also using it to attack well. So that is why for our cyber news, there's an AI challenge to help come up with solutions on how to prevent fraud when it comes to voice cloning, right, using AI. So AI, cybersecurity, AI, and automation tools. We have Darktrace and the rest. So these are one of the categories that we are also predicting to be in high demand when it comes to 2024. Right? And then 11, web application firewalls. We looked at that in our previous list. Now, web application firewalls, since we are on the web and we are not getting off the web anytime soon, we need web application firewalls to stay safe. And some of the brand names, Cloudflare and the rest, are also some of the vendors within that space. Email security, Proofpoint, and Mimikast, we looked at that previously. Since we are not also going to stop sending emails, then obviously we need to put our email security tools also on the list. Patch management, very critical. Since we are also not going to stop using applications and software, we always have to patch them because they always come with some vulnerabilities. So patch management, having an automated patch management program in place or patch management tools will help us to stay on top of our patches as well. So that is for 13. Now we are going to jump, that is for all the tools. For aside using tools within the security space or familiarizing ourselves, how do we stay up to date when it comes to security trends and what is going on within the security space, right? As a security professional or an aspiring security professional, you have to be a student of the industry. And this doesn't have to be something that is really hard to do, right? We are going to show you some of the areas and some of the websites that you can, go to or subscribe to be able to stay abreast with what is going on, right? And before I even start with the list, one of the things that you can do to stay abreast is always attend cyber chats, Eretmis Cyber Chat, Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, like you are doing right now. And we are always talking about something, some different topic, bringing on different things. And we have a very good and vibrant audience and community and family, and they are all bringing up different things from, their different areas of security, right? So staying up to date with, or staying informed or up to date with the latest trend and best practices, technological advancement within the security space is a requirement if you want to be if you want to be an effective security professional. I'll just put it at that, right? So from websites, online platforms, publications, and professional organizations that you join, you'll be able to do this easily. So we are going to look at some of the list of 2024. So for cybersecurity websites and news portals, this is by no means all the list. Cybersecurity news should be on here as well. So we have Hackers News, Krebs on security is also one of the areas. But simply just Googling cybersecurity, like if you can Google cybersecurity news, and there is a whole list of different websites for cybersecurity news. Now, with these websites, you can subscribe to them, right? To their email list, and whenever there is something new, you are going to have a notification. So for me personally, I've subscribed. I don't even remember like the list. I've subscribed to so many of these, and most especially for the government security websites like NIST. I'm obviously on PCI's list, on ISAC's list, ISC Square's list. So anything that they are pushing out, CompTIA's list, I'm in the know, and I don't even have to do anything. They just send it to me. And, I'll just take a look at it. Okay, so this is what is going on within the industry. So that is what I encourage everybody to do, right? So aside going to these websites, when you go there, instead of going there every day and every time, just subscribe to their newsletter. When they send it out, do well and take a look at it. Now, for online platforms and communities, Eretmis is one. You can join our WhatsApp group. Reddit, they have some security community also on there. On LinkedIn, there is like a security community also on there, right? But you need to join one that is not, that doesn't look kind of artificial, not artificial in that sense, but one that is more interactive and that is more personalized, right? I want one that I might know somebody in there that I can reach out to, or if I have a specific questions, and you can put it on the platform, people, judge on it. But if you need to really speak to somebody, you should be able to, and that is what we try to do on our platform, Eretmis. Now, stock exchange security, information security. Also for their website, they have an information security site that you can also subscribe to. And then for the government side, we have CISA. So CISA, not the certification, but Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. So this is the government agency that is in charge of everything cybersecurity. They work under the Department of Commerce, because the Department of Commerce, if you didn't know, is the department responsible for everything information security, cybersecurity within the US, right? And under them they have CISA, and then it will trickle down to some of these agencies like NIST and the rest, also on there. NICE and NICCE, National Information Security, or National Cybersecurity Excellence, something. There is NICCE. There is a website also like that. That also is under CISA, right? So for CISA, they always have really, lots of good information. You can subscribe to their newsletter also as well. So go on the website, subscribe, and now you are just going to relax, and they are going to just be sending you updates with whatever is going on in the security space, predominantly on the government side, right? Now they have the European Union Agency for Cybersecurity. This will also give you the international twist, right? Anything going on in Europe, you are also going to be in the know, right? So Number 4 is also cybersecurity research and reports. So every year, right, or in the course of the year, there are a lot of cybersecurity reports that will be thrown at us from different, research bodies, from different companies, right? ISACA has one, CompTIA has one, ISE Square has one, name it, Verizon. I mean, there is a lot of them out there, right? Those are also good resources and those, I like those because they are based on research, right? So during the year, they are sending out like surveys, they are interviewing people, and then they'll come up with, okay, this is the top list of security certifications that you need to get if you want to go to this side or go to that side. And these are top security certifications, and this is how much you can earn if you have these certifications, right? All that is going to inform you about what is going on within the industry. So I'm able to answer a lot of questions because I'm well informed, because I read everybody's reports. I know what is going on firsthand. And I'm also, aside being in the industry and working and practicing, everything in there, you can be in the industry and not know what is going on, right? If you are not if you are not updating yourself with what is really going on, because you can just be doing that one thing that you are doing, and then that's it. So if I'm just doing PCI assessments, how do I know how much, which certification is what, like which certification is earning more money? If you are just looking at money in terms of certifications, right? Somebody has done a research on it, so I can easily grab that and stay updated on it. So I'll compare that to what is really going on within the industry, how much people are making in terms of salaries, and really confirm whether it is, close to what is being, practiced, or please unmute yourself, Chong. I muted you and you unmuted yourself again. Please unmute yourself. Please mute yourself, not unmute yourself. So for research, there's a whole list of them, right? Not just these two, there's a whole list of them. So Verizon, and also depending on the type of topic you are looking for, but I will just simply subscribe to all these websites. So all the certification bodies like CompTIA, ISACA, ISE Square, name them, right? You can go to their website and subscribe to their newsletter. Whenever there is a new report, you are going to receive it. Subscribe to NIST as well. Subscribe to CISA. Subscribe to NICE, NICE, that is under NIST. They all have really good information that they send out from time to time, right? And for number 5, cybersecurity conferences and events like this one. So webinars, event conferences like Black Hat Conference, PCI conference, name it. There's a lot of conferences around. And guess what? Next year, God willing, we are going to have an Eretmis conference where we are all going to meet in person. Location still to be determined. And if Michael is here, I think we will take a little break and have Michael ask everybody where they are joining us from, right? But we are going to have a PCI conference, not an Eretmis conference next year. So the time and the location still yet to be determined. That is why we do the little break, and then we are going to ask everybody to put in the chat where they are joining us from, and then we give them some shout outs. So if Michael is still on here, Michael can take over and do that real quick, at least 2-3 minutes, and then we are going to move on.
All right, good evening. How's everybody doing? Or good morning, depending on where you are joining from, or afternoon. So yeah, as we like to do this session around the world, so please just type in the chat where you are joining from, just for the whole community to see how our footprint is pretty much spread wide, and also to give us an idea as we are planning for a meetup at Eretmis, we can just get some information and we can know how best we can meet all target teams. So yeah, just go ahead and drop in your location. All right. So we see Toronto, okay, Dearborn, Michigan, Brooklyn, New Jersey, We see Houston in the house. Okay, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Ohio, Rockville, Maryland, Chicago, High Chi-Town, Bowie, Maryland. Okay, Canada. All right, Delaware, Texas. A lot of Texas representation. Woodbridge, Virginia. Shout outs to Anchorage, Alaska. Okay. San Diego, Japan. All right. All right. Okay, we got someone from Japan. Is this Saitama, Japan? Okay. Woodbridge, Queens. Shout outs to Queens Island. Indiana, Highland Park, New Jersey, Houston, Dallas, Georgia, country, not Georgia, US. Okay. All right. So we got some overseas footprint here. We got Georgia, we got Japan, Dallas, all right, Colorado, I see you, New Jersey, Seattle. All right, we see Saskatchewan, yeah, okay, in Canada, Cincinnati, Georgia. Oh, wow. Great representation. And like we always say, so Manchester, Connecticut, okay. All right, Brooklyn, Misawa, Japan Air Force Base. We see, so we have a lot of Japan. Nice. A lot of footprint in Japan. Not awesome. Good to hear that Eretmis is pretty much global now. Misawa Air Force Base. Glad to hear that. DMV in the house. Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Boston. I think we have like about 30 seconds or probably a minute left. Dallas, Boston. Okay. Nice. Love the representation. Any place from Africa? Or Hackerstown, New Jersey? Any representation from Africa? Forgive me if I missed any in the chat. We have a couple of Georgia state, not a state actually. Georgia as a country. We have Japan, Canada, of course, repping North America. Killeen, Texas. All right, I see you. Killeen, Texas. Okay. All right. Wow, that's awesome. And like we always keep saying, those of you who need CPEs, your continuing education, just drop a comment in the chat, say hashtag Team Live, and just grab a screenshot, just file it away like we keep saying, and just upload it when your renewal time is up here, and it will count as your CPE as well. So don't forget to do that. And also those of you who miss it, replay, no biggie. Catch the replay series, same thing. You can do hashtag Team Replay or whatever you choose to do. Yeah, just grab the screenshot, file it away, and yeah, you should be on your way to renew your certification.
All right, Michael.
Nice.
Thank you. So appreciate everybody for sharing your location with us. And we are going to continue from here. So like I was saying, for the conference, we're going to have our own God willing next year. So, but for, any conference webinars that you can attend, please do, because you don't have to stop learning. And there is nothing like too much knowledge or, that you can add to your toolbox. So please do attend, any of these that you will be able to. You have the time to be able to attend. Now, we also have, so for number 6, cybersecurity training and certifications, right? So there is a guy who he has CISSP, right? But for him, his one way that he stays up to date with industry trends is with certifications. And what he does is he doesn't use any of the continuous education. Every time his certification is up, he will sit for the exam, right? He will prepare and sit for the exam like this is the very first time. And that helps him to really stay up to date with, industry trends and what is changing, because those certification exams, like the ones that the updates for every 3 years, every 2 years from these certification bodies, they take into account what is going on within the industry. So in terms of technological advancement and what is considered best practice within the industry, right? So that is also one way that you can stay abreast with what is going on, right? So certifications and training. Now, one good area, if you want free training, free certification, NIST, not NIST, under CISA, right? Under CISA, under NICCE, NICCOE or NICCE, one of those. They have a whole catalog of cybersecurity training on there. So some introductory, there's a whole variety on there that you can look at. SANS also, they have some free training on there. Right? So, but for certifications and training in general, Eretmis, we also have our own training that is going to really equip you to become a security professional and also stay updated. And then also for industry certifications like CompTIA Security Plus, CISSP, and the rest, as you are preparing and studying for those exams, you're also going to be exposed to what is going on within the industry. So my advice to everybody who is trying to sit for any of these exams is don't be in a hurry just to get the paper that is a certification. Don't skip any steps. Go through the process. Make sure you understand the questions you are reading. You understand the answers that have been given. You have to really embrace what you are doing, not just to take a shortcut, get some practice tests and memorize answers and take the test and pass. When you take the test and pass, like, what is the use if you really don't understand what was even on the test? Right? Because what was on the test, part of it, or mostly all of it, you are going to meet on the job, right? So make sure you are not, because you are beating yourself, you are not beating any system. You can have all the 10 certifications and still not know anything. So if it comes to certifications, make sure you are acquiring the knowledge and skill that comes with it, not just the paper that is the certification. What most people don't get is you are the certification, not the paper you are holding. What you know and what you can do is the certification, not the piece of paper you are holding. Right. So let's move on to the next item when it comes to best cybersecurity resources for 2024 is cybersecurity professional organizations that you can join. So there's a whole list of them. ISE Square is one, CompTIA is one, Eretmis is one. Also, ISACA is one. And mostly these are some of the certification bodies that you can join. You can also join communities like ours as well, right? And some of the technical resources and tools that you can also familiarize yourself with, or resources that you need for 2024, not limited to this, but OWASP Top 10, or OWASP itself, MITRE in Attack, CWE is also one of the technical resources. And NVD, that is the National Vulnerability Database, run by NIST, is also the warehouse, or I would say the encyclopedia for all vulnerabilities, all known, keyword known, all known vulnerabilities within cybersecurity. NIST has the list, right? So if within your company, there's a vulnerability that you want to research into, that list, the vulnerability data, the National Vulnerability Data National Vulnerability Data List or Data Center. Data, no, not just data. There's nothing else underneath it, after it. So NVD, yes, National Vulnerability Data or Database. Don't quote me on that. I'm getting the D is data. Something else probably is on there or not on there, but everybody gets the point. That is being run by NIST. Right? So check that out also out as well for the technical resources that you are going to need. And so with that, we are going to move on into the last list. So cybersecurity podcasts, there is a lot of them out there. There is a guy who runs, I think, Michael he's Michael's friend, so Michael can probably speak to that more. There's a guy who runs some morning cybersecurity updates on LinkedIn. Maybe most of you know him. That is also a good listen for cybersecurity podcasts. For what we are doing for these webinars, we also, have the podcast version as well that you can listen to. But some of like this list is some of the popular podcasts that are out there. Now, for whatever, wherever you get your podcast, there's always going to be some cybersecurity something on there. So those are also ways that you keep up to date. For cybersecurity books and publications, these are just some of the list. Certification publication books, like certifications, books for certifications and articles that are being written and published. All those are also areas that you are going to stay abreast, right? So there is really no limit or no end to where you can find resources for cybersecurity. But for us, our prediction for 2024, this is the list that we came up with, right? So hopefully it helps and you're able to gain something new out of this. Right? Now we will jump into our next PCI cohort is starting on 12th of December. And our next, for our cybersecurity entry-level course, you can start at any time. But our internship next one is starting on the 16th of December or so as well. Right. So for us at Eretmis Career Path, we encourage everybody to take our free cybersecurity for beginners course. If you've not already done so, please do. And also cybersecurity for PCI for beginners also. If you've not done so already, please do. So you can also take advantage of that also as well. Right? And for our main training, our cybersecurity entry-level course, you can start at any time. So it covers hands-on training, the knowledge piece. It also includes the internship, right, and job placement assistance. And for anybody who wants to write Security Plus, Security, the analyst, cybersecurity analyst, the entry level prepares you more than enough to sit for those and pass as well. So for our career path for cybersecurity in general, if you're totally new, the free course, the entry level, and you should be good to go. You should be able to jump straight into the job market and function as a cybersecurity professional. For PCI, that is also the career path is from PCI for beginners, and then either expert, so specialist and then expert, and you should be good to go, right? Work as a PCI professional. Now, I saw that Michael, not Michael, but Frank was able to join us again. We will just give him a big congratulations and a shout out before we move into questions and answers. But this is for our internship, cybersecurity internship. 16th is when we are starting the new cohort. And for payment options, we have different payment options as well. Now we are ending our promotion for Veterans Day, and we are starting the one for Thanksgiving, since Thanksgiving is going to be next week. So next week, Thanksgiving weekend, we are not going to meet for Cyber Chat. Obviously, everybody is going to be enjoying Thanksgiving. So, but before we move on and get into questions and answers, I would like for us to give a big shout out to Frank. He just landed his very first PCI job. So for all those who were in the PCI class with Frank, I think Frank was in Michael and Alan's class, so you can give him a big shout out. Congratulations to Frank. And if he wants to say a word or two, he did 4 interviews. I think Frank has done more interviews than anybody who has landed a job on here, right? So congratulations, Frank. We wish you all the best.
Thank you, everyone.
And great job.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm at work right now, so I can't really talk much. But I guess sometime in the future, you have cyber chat for me, I guess.
Yes.
Then I can elaborate on everything.
Yes, Frank. So we appreciate all the hard work that you also put in, and this is just to encourage everybody. It is going to pay off. Frank has come a long way. So during one of the cyber chats, we're going to bring Frank on. He's also going to share his experience, right? He has come a long, long way. So we are going to open the floor now for questions, and then we will wrap it up for tonight. But for next week, like I was saying, we are not going to have Cyber Chat because it's Thanksgiving weekend. And for if there are any resources that anybody on here thinks, hey, we can also add this, or this is going to help us as a group, you can also bring it up. Please do. And I'm going to have Michael go through some of the questions that were on here, and we are going to address them. But either than that, all our contact information has been posted, links to the free courses, and also to make an appointment to do one-on-one. If you have any cybersecurity concerns or issues, they've all been posted. And most importantly, the WhatsApp group has also been posted, so you can join. And that is going to be one of the places that you are going to also you will have access to updates when it comes to industry trends as well. So Michael, you can go through the questions real quick if there are any questions in there, and we will wrap it up.
All right, there's some few questions here. I think someone is asking, can anyone help with a list of books for newbies who are preparing for certifications like Security Plus 601, CISM, and also CISSP? So for cybersecurity, best book out there, I'm sure Dr. Du will tell you, is the one by Daryl Gibson, Get Certified. I think currently the current version is 601, but I'm sure with 701, there's going to be a new update. I'll probably find and drop the link here to get it, or from Amazon or whatever. But yeah, it's by Daryl Gibson. It's a very good book, and that's what we always recommend for everyone. I don't know if Dr. Du has any additional books to add.
Okay, so for certification exams like Security Plus, CISSP, and the rest, now for the owners of those exams, they have their own books, and the owners are the companies. So like CompTIA for CISA, ISACA, and the rest. Now, for some reason, personally, the only book from the owners of the exam that are relevant and helpful to the exam, the only one that I have come across is the one for CISA. Right. Aside that, the ones for that everybody has, and I think also for the one for CISSP, but that one wasn't written by, not necessarily is by I've forgotten his name, but he's one of the guys who've been writing about security for a long time. He wrote the book, but then ISACA took it and made it their own, right? So mostly for the books from them, the only one that kind of goes a bit off, if you use their book, you're probably not going to pass. Not throwing anybody out there, but we are partners, but it's CompTIA, right? So, but still, for starting off, Daryl Gibson's book, Get Certified, Get Ahead, is a very good book. For all the CompTIA Security Plus books that are out there, hands down, he beats everybody, hands down, right? So that is a very good starting point for anybody who wants to get into security. It even builds you up to the point builds you up to the point where if you want to switch from Security Plus to go right CISA or any of those, you still have a very solid foundation. Right? So it's a really good book. We are not partners with him. We don't get any commission or anything. The truth is the truth. It's a really good book. So please, if that is what you're looking for, Daryl Gibson, Get Certified, Get Ahead. All right, go ahead, Michael.
All right, someone is asking, person has a voucher for the Sec Plus 601 and asking if the new 701 will be affecting you. So you said you'll be writing this in a couple of weeks. I think the 701, I stand to be corrected, but I believe that is for next year. So if you are planning on writing it this week, you should be, this year, you should be good with the 601.
Yeah, and also mostly when there is the new, like when there is 701 is up, it is going to run shoulder to shoulder with 601, I think, for the next 6 months or 4 months thereabout, before they totally retire 601. So if you bought a voucher for 601, you should be good, I think, for the next probably maybe the next 4 or 5 months.
till July of 2024.
Yes, great. So next 6 months. Thank you.
All right, let's see here. If your company is undergoing security and compliance interviews, what type of questions can you expect to be asked by an assessor? Okay, if your company is undergoing security and compliance interviews, what types of questions can you expect to be asked by the assessor? So this question is, what type of assessment are you doing? Is it PCI? Is it SOC 2? Is it, ISO? So depending on the type of compliance assessment you are working on, whether it's PCI, ISO, or, SOC 2, whatever the case may be, right? That would depend if it's a NIST cybersecurity maturity assessment too. So it just depends on what type of first, which type of compliance framework are you being assessed on, and each of them comes with their own testing procedures, right? So that'll be the first step. And we can take this offline in case you know exactly what you are working on. So we can take this offline and help you out. I don't know if Dr. Do you have anything to add on that?
No, I think like you just nailed that one. So you cannot be assessed in vain. You're assessing against something. So whatever you're assessing against in terms of framework is where your questions are going to come from. So let us know. I think they put in here PCI and NIST. Kobe put NIST, and then NKZ put PCI. So I'm not sure which of them. But we can talk offline on that one. We can.
Yeah. All right, going through here. What is the difference between antivirus, malware, and EDR? So EDR is just a fancy cybersecurity term for antivirus, right? It's the same thing. It's endpoint detection and response, and it is an antivirus. So, of course, now they are coming with all these fancy terminologies, right? So antivirus is the same as EDR. And malware is just a malicious software. I don't know if Dr. Du has anything to add on that.
Yeah, so for mostly people get confused with antivirus and then anti-malware. Now, virus is a form of malware, right? So anti-malware covers everything malware, including virus. Antivirus covers specifically only viruses that will be on your system. So it's not necessarily going to cover worm and other ones like ransomware and Trojan and the rest, right? So rat, not Trojan, and the rest. So that is the major difference between the two.
Yeah, and just to add to that, now there are so many endpoint detection and response tools that does a whole bunch of stuff, like all the SOAR and like there are so many EDR solutions out there. So some of them has the capability of doing so many things when it comes to endpoint detection, response. Some do quarantine, deleted, like so many things out there. So yeah, there's a lot of tools involved in that. All right, let's see. Someone is asking, CompTIA Sec Plus requires about 50 CPEs to renew certification. Do we have to upload 50 clips of, say, Eretmis webinar? No, I think every, probably have to double check again, but I believe every every webinar counts as 2, so you don't have to upload 50 of them. I think it's 1 or 2. I believe it's 2. But yeah, and we've seen someone who actually uploaded, was it like just 5 of them and still counted as, a renewal towards their CPE. So yeah, you don't have to do, but just keep, filing it away. If I were you, I'll just create like a folder on your desktop. Whenever you join this cyber chat, just grab a screenshot, name it, file it away, and just keep uploading it. So if, you come to cyber chat pretty much every Friday, guess what? In a month, you have 4 right there, right? In a year, guess what? So yeah, it comes by quick, and yeah, you have plenty more than enough when your 3 years is due. Okay. I don't know if Dr. Du has anything to add on that.
No, I think like exactly what you said. And there was something in here from Jonathan. I think I'll just go ahead and send you that information. Go ahead, Michael.
All right. So someone is asking, is DOS and DDoS the same? Any difference? So DOS is distributed denial of service, right? DDoS, distributed denial of service, and DOS is just denial of service, right? So denial is just coming from one host, computer, and distributed is coming from multiple hosts. That is why it's distributed, right? So pretty much just trying to interrupt your normal operations, right? So for instance, if Amazon, of course, next week is Thanksgiving, right? And people will be going to their website to purchase stuff, right? Books, whatever the case may be, items, gifts, right? So some attackers will hit their website, so it will overload pretty much their entire website. So it'll be very difficult for legitimate users like you and I trying to have legitimate access to buy something, right, from the website. If this is coming from one particular host, one particular laptop, it's distributed, it is denial of service, that is DOS, right? But if you have multiple people, like different teams, like myself, Dr. Let's say Eretmis company, right? It's like an APT hires about 20 people. Everybody has their laptop and trying to overload the load that Amazon receives just to interrupt their service for legitimate users. That is what we call distributed denial of service. That is DDoS, right? Coming from multiple computers, right? If it's just one host, it's just denial of service. I don't know if Dr. Du has anything to add on that.
No, that should be good enough.
All right. Let's say when using PCI DSS tools such as pre-assessment tool, prioritize approach, spreadsheet, do we have to show it to the employer when giving the report? If not, how can we present the report without the employer seeing the tool used? I'm trying to see if I understand your question. Pat, can you unmute to just explain a little bit more? Trying to see. So are you trying to say you're working on the assessment, right? And everything is all done. Do you need to prove what you used to get the assessment done, or?
Hey, the question is that when, like, you do for example, the pre-assessment, and, you have to use the tool. So my question was, how can you present the report to the employer without seeing all those details on the spreadsheet? So I was wondering if there's another way we can just present the report without exposing all the tools that we use.
So it just
no, Michael, I think like I'll get in here. So Pat, this is offline question, but just for everybody, so the tools that you are using, you don't have to present that. Now, ultimately, when you are doing internal assessment, by the time you are done, what you are going to present is either if you are a level one or two or below, right? If you're a level 1 and you are doing internal assessment, you're obviously going to be using the ROC. Once you are done, the findings on the ROC and the gaps you identified is what you're going to present. It can be in a PowerPoint presentation, right? If it is you are doing an internal assessment and is level 2 and below, you are filling out like an SAQ. For the SAQ self-assessment questionnaire, filling it out and you, together with your attestation, is what you are going to present, if that is what you are going to actually use to validate your compliance, right? So nothing else that you use to really get to that point is really relevant to whoever is looking at it. How you got there, they don't really, care. Ultimately, they want to show, see that they met the requirements, or they pass or they fail, right? So are they in compliance or they are non compliance? So for you, you don't have to, everything that you are using internally for what we give you is for your own internal use and to make your work easier to understand what is going on. For presentation wise, if you have to present any gaps, or any areas that needs to be taken care of, that can be in a form of PowerPoint presentation. Right? Mostly that is going to be to maybe your CISO or somebody higher. So nobody wants to go to the kitchen in the restaurant and see how the food is being cooked. I just want to see the food and eat. Right? So look at it that way.
All right, thank you so much. I understand it. So everything will be summarized into ROC or the self-assessment questionnaire. Yeah, yes. I got it. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome. All right, Michael. So let's speed it up and wrap it up here.
All right. Oh yeah, I'll speed it up. Someone is asking, how can endpoint security, automation, and orchestration improve your security posture? So you're talking about SOAR. SOAR is like security orchestration, automation, and response. It's a good tool for CSIRT, cybersecurity incident response tool. It does all your aggregation, all your login, send everything to a centralized location so you can aggregate it right. So it's a very good tool when it comes to incident response and also detection. I'm trying to speed it up here. Someone is asking, having enrolled in the PCI program in November, how long is the cohort expect to run for, and how long can I expect to complete the course? So if you did enroll into the
that has been answered already, so we can just move
okay. All right. Let's see. How do I book for help because I'm having trouble with my hands-on? Yeah, so on the website, if you want help, you can book a Zoom session. So just go to the website and request one-on-one support. If you request that, it will come to us, and yeah, we'll support you whichever way you can. And also our phone numbers are always.
The link has been posted also, so you have like the link, like that direct link. You don't even have to go anywhere. Direct link in there, so just use that.
Sounds good. Let's see. I think, did I miss anything? I'm going through everything here.
I think that should be all of it.
That should be it. And thank you so much. Shout out to Tunde. Tunde took it upon himself to tabulate pretty much all the location and everything for us. Thank you so much. He just dropped the Excel spreadsheet. Thank you so much, Tunde, for doing this.
I think the last question from Olan is the principle of least privilege a good control to data in process? Okay, so still referring to data that is being processed. So yes, that will be one of the best practices that you can use, right? So data that is in process, we just have to protect the environment that is being used to process that data, right? We cannot encrypt that data. We cannot do anything to the data specifically because it is being used. So yes, that is going to be one of the principles that we can use to really meet that goal. Oh, okay, Chris. So yeah, you are in the right group. You are going to be moved into the expert WhatsApp group once you are done with the specialist. So yes, you are in the right group. All right, everyone. I appreciate everybody's time. If there are no questions from the group aside the ones that we had in the chat, we are going to wrap up for tonight. And have a great weekend, everyone. I appreciate it, and I hopefully everybody was able to take something away from this. Have a great weekend, and since we are not going to be meeting for Thanksgiving, have a great Thanksgiving weekend. And at Eretmis, we are thankful, and we are grateful for everybody on here. It's another year, and we are thankful for the ability to even be able to meet and to discuss cybersecurity on here. So we appreciate you all. We are thankful for you, and we know you are going to continue to support the whole entire family, the whole entire Eretmis family and community. And we're also here to support and make sure you are very successful. Have a great weekend. We will meet again after Thanksgiving. Stay blessed.
Thank you.